So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Yuki Sogai. As introduced, I am lead partner of sustainability practice in Japan. I'm really honored to host such a great session today. And this session is going to focus on circularity because circularity is really an important issue for climate change as well as for the world, economic growth. I think this is really important topic from two perspectives. One is sustainability and another perspective is geopolitics. From sustainability perspectives, cultivating or processing or dumping materials causes a lot of environmental issues, including emitting GHGs. But also from geopolitical perspectives, the war or geopolitical risks are causing price instability and procurement volatility of price. So now it is really important for us to think how we optimize existing materials in our hand. So I think this topic is really important for achieving climate change, net zero climate change solution, as well as achieving economic growth. And circularity is very important for Asia, I believe. Because, Asia is actually a factory for the world. We are producing a lot of products, utilizing a lot of inputs, energy, materials for the world to consume. But at the same time, we are importing, but Asian countries are importing a lot of wastes after the world consume products. So if I may be blunt, it's not good word to put on stage, but the Asia has been a world factory as well as a world trash can. So I think Europe and the world is now starting to focus on circularity, but it is really important to think how to close this loop in Asia. Otherwise, this circularity is not completed. So today, I am really excited to have these distinguished guests, the best people to discuss these urgent and complex and important issues. So first, Ms. Petra, CEO and CSO of IKEA Japan, once again, big applaud to her. And Mr. Nakamura, President and CEO of Mizuho Leasing. And MJ, Manoj Jain from Ideation 3X. I'm really honored to have these three people. So we would like to start from hearing what kind of efforts each of you doing around circularity. So can we start from Mr. Nakamura?
Thank you. Good afternoon. I am Nakamura from Mizuho Leasing Company. With the companies which advanced in sustainability, we have this opportunity to have discussion. I'm very pleased and honored. Mizuho Leasing Company, as the name shows, is a leasing company. Japanese leasing companies, it's not that we are doing only leasing business, the business sectors include in Japan and outside, leasing business, and renewable energy business, real estate business, and also the aircraft leasing, equity investment. All these areas we are engaged in. 3 trillion yen is a total asset. As the name shows, it has Mizuho because we are a member of the equity method company of Mizuho Financial Group. The functions, we are leasing company, financing function, but not only that, in business investment, asset holding, business operation, the subscription business and service provider as well. In the case of Japan, the carbon neutrality and also shortage of manpower and business succession. These social issues, with going beyond the framework of finance, we are to provide solutions. Value creation company. As you know, the GHG emission, and half of that is coming from electricity and energy, and half of that is coming from products and food. I said that we are doing renewable business. Our carbon neutral strategy is one thing, the renewable energy business, plus circular economy, building circular economy platform. Circular economy platform is a twin to linear economy. I'm sure that you know the procurement of recycled materials and producing products. And then for a long period of time, we reuse and for utilize for a certain period of time, and then to turn the material into resource as well. So this is a platform for circulation of material. The companies which produce products are artery companies, but that alone will not be sufficient at the end of the day. The companies which will be recycling resources, which we call vein companies. So we are to be go between with the artery and vein businesses and establish a platform. More specifically, what do we do? For one thing, reuse business as products, robotics, and the bed for medical bed and the machine tools. With our partners, we provide a subscription for use, subscription model, and the lease of the products. It's not just leasing, but to be used for a long period of time. So we provide a maintenance service for the leasing. In addition, in recycling business, aluminum and plastic materials, we are trying upon this POS register and automobile traceability data, how we obtain traceability data, and how the recycled materials are to be efficiently recycled in the vein part of the cycle. At the same time, circular economy and carbon neutrality. We make investment into start-up companies and also leases with subsidies. Thank you very much.
Thank you. ありがとうございます。It's really interesting. I think one of the most difficult part of circular economy is closing the loop, but Mizuho's leasing business has already this platform to close the loop, which is really an advantage, I believe. So next one is Ms. Petra. I understand that IKEA has been pursuing circularity quite seriously. Would you let us know, share your story?
Absolutely, thank you. My name is Petra Farre. I'm the CEO and the CSO, the Chief Sustainability Officer of IKEA Japan. Swedish company, and coming from Europe. I feel a little bit bad with your introduction there about the factory, which the good side and then the flip side of Asia. But I can assure you, on behalf of IKEA, we're here to do good. Because our vision is to create a better everyday life for the many people. And it influences everything we do. We want to do what's good for people and what has a good impact on the world, all the way from the communities where we source our raw material to how customers use our products to have a sustainable life at home. We are driven by purpose. We're passionate about people's homes and people's lives, because we truly believe that home is the most important place in the world. And to have a better home creates a better everyday life. And then we've also decided to do business within the boundaries of the planet, because that is the one home that we all share. And we have really bold ambitions to play our part in solving some of the many challenges, such as circularity facing the world, while delivering an even better experience for our customers and growing our business. And we have a sustainability strategy that's called People and Planet Positive. And that is to inspire and activate and lead us in the decision making, to be united across the IKEA value chain so that we can really do what's good also throughout the world. And we have identified 3 major challenges. It is about the climate change. It is about unsustainable consumptions, quite bold for a retailer to say. And it is about the increasing inequalities around the world, because those challenges have a direct impact on all people's health and well-being. And that's why we have 3 focus areas in our People and Planet Positive strategy. It's about circular and climate positive. We have that as one. It is about supporting healthy and sustainable living. And it is about supporting homes, workplaces and societies across the world that are fair and equal. And we put circularity and climate together as one because, of course, as a company producing a lot of products, we live in a world that is resource scarce. And it's not just about the materials used in our products, it's also how people use our products in their homes. And then when it comes to climate, we are quite vocal. We had some interesting discussions before. We're quite vocal in IKEA about ending fossil fuel usage. And it's been acknowledged in COP28 with a vow to triple the renewable energy by 2030. And Inca, the franchisee part that I belong to as IKEA Japan, have committed to invest another €1 billion. So by 2030, we will invest €7.5 billion into renewable energy. So I just have to say that before stepping into circularity, which is one of the absolute key pillars in our sustainability strategy. And we're committed to become a circular business by 2030. It's only 6 years from now, by providing products and services for circular living, switching to materials that are made of renewable or recycled products. And we want to reduce water waste and energy. And when it comes to waste, it's reducing, it's reusing and recycling. And then it's quite a big commitment. We produce and sell a lot of home furnishing products, 100% renewable or recycled materials by 2030. And today, or in 2021, we were on 17% recycled and 51% renewable. So it's a big commitment, but I am totally convinced that we will get there. And then, of course, it's also about prolonging the life cycle of our products. Customers have thought for a long time that our products are durable, but they've had a challenge when moving them. So that's why we have decided that it's about not just being easy to assemble. We put a big focus on disassembling and reassembling. And we're providing spare parts for all our furniture. So if you're missing a screw or a leg, please don't throw it out. Order the spare part from IKEA so it can have a second and a third life. And then we have also disrupted our own business model, you could say, because we have brought back or brought in the second-hand market and the circular economy into our system. Back in the days when I started in IKEA, which is more than 20 years ago, we would say, "Ooh, we can't have a flea market in the parking lot. What if people don't buy new products?" And now we say, of course, we should have the flea market. We should have the second-hand products in our stores so that people do buy the products. Don't throw them out. And also it's very good for affordability because we know that second-hand products is at a lower price. So it's good for the business, it's good for the planet, and it's good for people. Then, of course, we also have a big agenda when it comes to biodiversity. Being such a big furniture producer and home furnishing accessories producer, it's super important that we support with partnerships. We work with WWF, done that for more than 20 years, on forestry, cotton, freshwater, and climate. When it comes to food, it's about having certified seafood, Rainforest Alliance certified coffee and chocolate, as well as, of course, decreasing the waste within the food, where we have done huge improvements, decreasing the waste by 50% over only 4 years. And we're super committed to do this together. That's why we're here today as well, because we believe that circular business can only happen through radical collaboration. It's about inviting our coworkers, it's about inviting our customers and any partner that would like to team up, because we think that we can take the opportunity to use our size of the business being a global home furnishing company, which is a huge responsibility as well as an opportunity. And then the more people we reach, the bigger impact we can have together, and the more people we can enable to live a better everyday life. And we have a mantra, and I hope that we can all agree on that before we leave, and that is to assemble a better future together.
Great, thank you. I was wondering, how. So of course it is good to make things circular, but I was wondering how you make economic returns. But in the middle of your presentation, I understood that you are changing your business model and incorporating second-hand market so that you have bigger business market. That was your business strategy, which was very interesting. Thank you. And now, MJ, thank you for coming. He just arrived this morning from India. We would like to understand what is happening in your market and what is your effort.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Lovely to hear the words of Mizuho and IKEA. Very impressive. I'm extremely passionate about our planet Earth because this is the only place we know where life exists. So I'll share my perspective on circularity. What is the impetus? Why circular economy? As Madam Petra mentioned, that the Earth has limited resources. For many centuries, only 5 to 10% of the world consumed, mostly European nations. 90% of the world, Asians produced. But then the Asian countries were called as developing nations and the West was called as developed nations. So consumerism was associated with development. Then came a beast called as internet. Everyone got to know that it is good to be developed. Having fancier cars, fancier consumables, lots of plastic is great. We will be called developed. Then came a nation that produced mass factories, everything made of plastic, produced cheap and threw it in the world. But in the process, we forgot the Earth resources are limited. What happens if we keep producing, keep consuming? What happens next? The garbage is produced and we dump it. What happens next? How do we get the resources back? Unless the stuff that's consumed is brought back in a circular fashion, the Earth will run out of resources. Now, why that is of importance? Let's say we waste our material. We throw it into water bodies. It produces the land, air and water pollution that comes. It's very harmful to our health. There was a virus a few years ago, we might have heard, called as COVID or Corona. It came, a small tiny virus that we cannot even see, put all of the humanity on its knees. That means any disease that can happen in one part of the world can consume the entire world. So a problem happening in Asia, as Madam Yuki said, the trash can of the world, is not contained to Asia. The rest of the world has to worry, has to have sleepless nights. Unless the world, the scientists, the capitalists, the policymakers, government come together to solve this problem. Instead of produce, consume and throw, it is produce, consume, throw, segregate, reuse, produce energy from that. The world is not sustainable at all. I'm not even talking about big topics such as global warming and others. Those are beyond my pay grade. There are debates, but the world does know about COVID. We do know about pollution. And we do know a great scientist called as Einstein who said, material and energy can change. They're interchangeable. So we believe the material that is wasted, if it is mixed together, it is truly garbage. But we can segregate. We can segregate plastic. We can segregate metals that can be reused very effectively. We can segregate a lot of other combustible material, produce energy out of it. The plastics can be, after recyclability, can be separated and used to convert, to break the hydrocarbon chains, like fractional distillation, that crude comes in, diesel is produced, we can create plastics. That's what my company does. The plastics are used to create fuel that can be used in machines. The large part of garbage can be used to create refuse-derived fuel, can be gasified, and it is source of energy. It can be used for factories. The wet waste, the kitchen waste, can be equivalent to composting at an industrial scale, can be used to produce compressed natural gas, a clean fossil fuel related, without fossil fuel gas that's used for fuel. So you see our fuels, our garbage it's all matter, can be used to convert into fuel, put back into the system. And large part of our garbage is also sand, construction material. The entire world, the topsoil is getting depleted. That sand from the garbage can be put back into the fields. So about 92%, 95% of our garbage can be recycled, can be reused, can be put back into the system. And that's what we do. It's Unison Capital. It's a Japanese private equity funded company. And we take circularity very seriously. I'm extremely passionate about it. We have produced fuel from garbage. And we believe that if all of us as human beings, not as just nations, come together, we can solve a very large crisis of the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think, PwC does consumer survey every year. And according to our survey, the consciousness about sustainability of consumers are very low in Japan, but it's very high in Asian countries. So most of Japanese people have this concept that only European people have consciousness around sustainability, but it's totally wrong. People in Asia, people in South America, people in Africa has much higher consciousness around sustainability because people are suffering from different types of environmental issues. And I think, this you mentioned about limited resource is one of the drivers for circularity, but another big driver is, I think, people who are suffering from environmental negative impacts, as well as you mentioned before in the back, in briefing session, that future generation who will continue to suffer from these environmental issues. Thank you very much. I now would like to ask you about challenges, because circularity is an extremely difficult business model, I think. So I would like to ask Nakamura-san, I think as I mentioned, because you have this circular loop already, but still I think there are a lot of difficulties to manage this new business. Would you tell us your challenges?
Thank you very much. I may be repeating some points I already made, but carbon neutrality and the division of the severing of supply chain and the demand for increase in demand for materials because of population increase, which resulted in difficulty on the waste treatment. And so rather than linear economy, circular economy will become more important than ever before. And there's a mood for circular economy in the world. On the other hand, mainly in Japan, the liaison or collaboration between the artery companies and vein companies are not going well. And a system for efficiently collecting the materials that were collected. In 2024, there will be shortage and overtime work regulations and logistics problem, which is a big headache for us. And then the value of recycled materials are not clarified yet. And along with that, the technological development for recycling is still halfway through. So in order to resolve these challenges, what are needed? Firstly, a regulation-driven movement, and the second is market-driven movement, and the third is technology-driven movement. Regulation-driven, as you know, in the EU, there are regulations and incentives that are in place. Regulations and incentives by government will support and push private sectors. And the second is market-driven. After receiving support from the government, and the companies which will enter into the market will increase, and the circular products and services will be introduced. PET bottles and consumer electronics and furniture, as IKEA does, we are seeing advancement in these areas. But basically, it is B2C, and it is not moving to B2B business yet. Ensuring economic rationale is important. Market itself has to move. And when the market moves, then R&D will be strengthened, and startup companies will be entering, which will find business opportunities, which will result in accelerated development of R&D, efficient collection of materials, and traceability can be realized easily, and which will result in realizing circular economy. Especially in Japan, there are three challenges that we need to resolve. The first is clarifying the value of recycled materials in the case of Japan. Rather than recycled materials, the economic rationale is found in virgin materials. So tax and carbon credit can be used so that we can create a market for recycled materials. And economic value of the recycled materials will have to be made clear. The second is further strengthening of the vein companies. 6.6 trillion is the size of the market, which are called vein companies, which are 1% of the total market. And artery companies, automobiles such as Toyota, and electronics and electric companies, there are big players. Artery companies, Veolia in France, with sales of 4 trillion yen. Rather than these companies, top companies have only 100 billion yen, and the TRE Holding that we have alliance with, they are top player, but they have about 90 to 100 billion yen of sales. So the size is different. We need to further enhance the size of these companies. Otherwise, stable supply of recycled materials will become difficult, or we are not able to accelerate this move. Third point, the collaboration or the liaison between artery and vein companies. That is the mechanism for collecting the recycled materials, and the tolerance of the quality of recycled materials have to be jointly worked from the designing stage. The design of the recycled materials and the tolerance of the quality of recycled materials and the recycling materials, collection materials mechanism has to be established from the beginning. Already there are some advancements, but there are still more room to go. So depending upon regions, there are different challenges. But vein companies and artery companies, for each product and materials, tenaciously, these challenges need to be resolved. Our company, fortunately, have in between artery companies and vein companies, and at the same time, we have the leasing and rental business, but we do investment and also the subsidy support for financing. We are able to provide these services as well. So we contribute to establishing circular economy framework and infrastructure. I do hope that the circular economy society can be realized in Japan quickly. And in that sense, we do hope that we can make our contribution. Thank you
very much. I didn't expect you are facing such many difficulties. I thought you already have good foundation to make things circular. But it was really interesting. So, Petra-san, would you let us know your challenges?
Of course, a lot of similarities, I would say. There's a lot of opportunities as well as challenges. And I think it starts with the leadership. It's about having the energy and the patience to overcome all the barriers. And to be determined to become a circular business means cooperating with companies, but also legislators that need to be in favor and need to be agile to actually update some of the legislations. It is, as we concluded, a resource-scarce world, and being fully circular and having 100% renewable or recycled products means a lot of challenges throughout the supply chain. Very well just explained, both in the product development, because the materials behave differently, as well as where do we source the materials. And then we sit with different challenges and different opportunities. Being IKEA, rather Swedish, in Japan, we see a challenge when it comes to how we look at waste management. We don't always, across the world, have the same view of what is recycling. It might be controversial, but in IKEA, we don't believe in thermal recycling. We can have some discussions afterwards as well. If you take oil out of the world, make it into a plastic product, we would like to keep it alive as long as possible and recycle it as much as possible. Or upcycle it, making it better, not making it worse. Then it gets tricky when you step into an energy discussion, especially I talk a lot with colleagues and friends, and then they say, oh, of course, you need to burn the garbage because we need the energy. And then the next person says, oh, we don't have enough land in Japan. We don't have enough space to build the recycling facilities. And I think it's really important that we define what is true and what is a myth, because sustainability and circularity is a little bit of a moving target. We need education, and we need to lead with the facts. And then we as a company believe in renewable energy and making products from renewable and recycled materials. And that could never have been done without working with other companies, other authorities, and across industries. And it is about finding partners that are as stubborn as yourself. And one example, some years ago, we set out that we would have zero emission home delivery, last mile delivery for our customers. You talked about online being a curse. We don't want to be part of the negative impact. We want to make sure that we have zero emission deliveries. So we said 100% zero emission deliveries by 2025. And people said, you're absolutely crazy. It's expensive, there's no infrastructure, there's no trucks, there's no permits, it's impossible. We will not be on 100% in 2025. Globally, we will be on 80%. In Japan, it's even a bigger struggle. Everybody who knows works with EV here knows, but we will be on 25% at the end of this year. And I think that is absolutely amazing. If we hadn't set the crazy targets and if we hadn't found the partners, we would still be on 5. And it is about finding the role models. I had the privilege to be responsible for textile development in IKEA, all the textile development. And I found Patagonia. We all know Patagonia. And when they had the marketing campaign that said, don't buy this jacket, I thought, wow, that was very bold. If the zipper's broken, please exchange it. If the jacket is broken, please patch it. And working with product development, I found a lot of inspiration how to truly prolong the life of the existing product, because that is good for the planet, it is good for the business, because you can always sell another zipper, and it is good for affordability. So I would even give the challenge, if that's okay, to this group, who is ready to take on and be the leading star in Japan. People tell me, you're Swedish, it's different. You're global, that's different. Who is ready to take on being the leading star in Japan? Who is ready to be the Japanese company that is the role model?
Thank you. I'm afraid that we are running out of time, so I have to move to quickly MJ. Probably you can give us your challenge and at the same time some encouraging message to the audience as well.
Thank you. Great stories. Thank you to IKEA that you're thinking about bringing 80 to 100% of reusability. So consider, I'll give only the positive message. Circular economy has more or less the same challenges as any other business. It's hyped that this is challenging. Which business makes money easily? There are challenges. Even PricewaterhouseCoopers has to fight a lot to get new clients.
Sure.
So I would say the opportunity-wise, everyone here who has a job should quit their job and start a circular economy company. It's very profitable. Garbage is gold. So anyone who says it's challenging, it's no more challenging, but the opportunities are enormous. So one example it is, you take about 25 tons of mining, you can extract 1 ounce of gold. You take 10 tons of electronic waste and you can extract 1 ounce of gold. So it is circular. You can take stuff out. The ability, think about the new things that are coming. We have to focus on every material that we use. EVs are very popular, but do we really know what happens to the batteries? When you recycle these batteries, they're horrible for the environment. The solar panels, when they're recycled, do you know what happens? What are they coated with? They're pure poison. What happens? So when someone like Ideation 3X, Unison Capital works towards it, the opportunities are enormous. You can recycle. New industries are being created. So everyone here, as a positive message, leave your job, start circular economy company. You'll make enormous amount of money.
Thank you very much. That's very interesting. So 1 minute left. A quick message, each of you.
Absolutely. I think we have an opportunity to make people in Japan aware. There's lower awareness in Japan that you're on to than the rest of the world. People in Japan listen to authorities, listen to companies, and they do. When they know why and what and how to do things, they do things. And that's why I was looking for who will be the leading star, because Japan might be a little bit behind today, but it's such a leapfrogging society. It's a little bit slow in the beginning, and then there's a leapfrog. I am convinced that Japan can be the leading market for the circular economy.
Thank you. And Nakamura-san?
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity this afternoon. So there's a startup company, Animal Spirit, a fund was established, and we invest in them. So I like that. Carbon neutral and animal spirit may sound, the opposite. But in Japan, animal spirit is considered to be very important. So carbon neutral business, I hope that with an animal spirit we can spearhead ahead. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think, consistent message today was circular economy and carbon neutrality are the both sides of coin, same coin, and also circular economy is not only for the environment, but this is a growing big business opportunity. Thank you very much. The great panelists, once again, please give them a big applause. Thank you.
Thank you.